This video is about to get very surgical. Hold on, man. Hold on, man. This video about to get very surgical, so stay with me. But really, all I want to do right now is I want to take y'all down the timeline of essentially my relationship with recognizing Drake as a musician. You see what I'm saying? I want to take y'all down a road where I talk to y'all about how I used to feel about Drake all the way up until now. You feel me? I want to give you a timeline because I'm noticing there's this narrative out there about me that I'm just a Kendrick fan and a Drake hater. Now, that is true. That is true. However, I feel like I have some of the most valid credibility for the opinions because I used to like both of them. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of people on both sides who, yes, they've always liked Drake and never cared about Kendrick. So, of course, they would act that way. And there's people who always liked Kendrick and never cared about Drake or never rocked with Drake. And that's why they're mad, right? And both sides of the fan base have always been going at it. But for me, I like them both. I liked both of them for different reasons at the same time. They were both some of my favorites in the game early on. So I just wanted to give y'all a timeline, okay? So first and foremost, just like most everybody else, because you got to remember, I'm 27. So I want to say in 2010, I was, how was I, 12, 13, something like that. And the thing was, when you had the basic channels and stuff, you know, Degrassi was one of the shows that would get played. So I would watch Degrassi. You know what I'm saying? I didn't watch it a whole lot, but I would watch Degrassi. So I knew who Drake was. But when I first heard his music, I didn't know that's who he was. You feel me? But my first introduction to Drake was Degrassi. And when I found out that the dude from Degrassi made music, it made me want to also check out his music. So a lot of people don't know about this because they wasn't there. So because of that, you know what I'm saying? They don't get these type of details. Okay? Now, this is when we get to see this Drake. You feel me? And my first introduction to Drake music ever was my uncle actually was playing or showed me karaoke on Thank Me Later. So that was the first ever piece of music I remember hearing from Drake. I might have heard stuff before that, but never really put it two and two together. You gotta remember I'm young, right? So it was weird to me when I first heard it, but I was like, oh, this is like I thought I'm a kid, remember that. So I'm thinking it's like some African dude doing some like Afro beats or something. I didn't know what was going on. But when I found out it was the dude from the Degrassi, I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to listen to his music. You know what I'm saying? Once again, I'm a kid. And that's when I really started to hear more of this album. And once I started to hear more of this album, I went back to this album. You see what I'm saying? So it was like that. And Thank Me Later, I'm still a fan of Thank Me Later. I don't listen to it no more because, you know, we'll get to the end and you'll figure out why. But I'm still a fan. I still think there's quality. This is a quality project. You see what I'm saying? Thank Me Later is a quality project. And once I started hearing Thank Me Later and I went back to So Far Gone with you know, they had the Dat Piff back in the day too. And I liked this more than Thank Me Later. This one had Houston Land and Vegas. What's the one? So if you do me a favor, maybe sooner than later. Sooner than later. Sooner than later. Okay? That's my joint. But I don't even listen to it no more, bruh. And you know, because it's like a conflict for me. You feel me? But that's when we get to. So at this point, I'm a fan of Drake. That's when we get to Take Care. Now, as a kid, I didn't know that the album came out. I'm a kid. I didn't know how to keep up with, you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel what I'm saying? But I had sources for some of my favorite music. I just didn't have a source for Drake's music at this point. So, when the first time I heard Take Care was, I think it was Headlines. Yeah. And I heard it at football practice, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. You know what I'm saying? This is cool. I got to listen to Take Care at one of the homies' house, and I liked it. Now, interestingly enough, like, unlike most people, this album didn't really marinate with me at first, and maybe because I was just really young, but I didn't really care much for this album. Okay? That was the interesting thing. The album I was cared about was this one. It was this one. This is when I was already a Drake fan, but this is when it took it to it. This is when I was like, oh yeah, Drake is one of the best. Drake is one of the best. You feel me? Because on this album, he was rapping. He was rapping more. You see what I'm saying? He was trying to get more. He was really getting deep in the trenches with the bars and stuff. And you got to remember, I don't know none of the stuff that happens later. So this is my current this is my perspective in that time. He was really rapping. The songs was fire. I think this is his best album. I think if Drake has a classic album, it's probably this one. You see what I'm saying? I know some people think Take Care is a classic. I mean, I see what people. Yeah, I'm not mad if people want to call Take Care a classic, but I think if any album is a classic from Drake, it's definitely Nothing Was the Same. I think that's Drake's only classic to me. But anyway, so yeah, boom. Love this album, boom, boom. But you got to remember, right? I think if I remember correctly, the Control verse came out before Nothing Was the Same. If I remember correctly. I'm not even going to fact check that. But I'm going to just say, based off my intuition, I'm going to say that this came out before Nothing Was the Same. Okay? Because I remember vividly thinking that if Kendrick, Nothing Was the Same, like, I remember hearing, like, oh, Drake is trying to really live up to this, like, okay, since we all competing, I'm finna give y'all a great album. That's what I thought. But when the Control verse came out and Drake had his opinions about it, that's when I was like, okay. But the way I excused it, and y'all will learn, I used to make excuses for Drake. You feel me? So when I excused it by saying, oh, he's just sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just sensitive. You feel me? Like, I mean, I don't expect Drake to not be sensitive. That's how I seen it. You feel me? I didn't really understand the overall spectrum of what that actually showed, though, in that moment. And of course I didn't. I was a teenager. You see what I'm saying? And the album comes out, right? Great album. I think there's a couple shots on there for Kendrick. So sneak disses. But then Kendrick come out with the Cypher verse. And I remember at the time, it was like a theory that Kendrick was dissing Drake. But some people were saying nah, some people were saying yeah, like it wasn't like a for sure, you know what I'm saying? Like people weren't for sure. Even I wasn't for sure. You feel me? I kind of felt like it, but I didn't know for sure. And I think this is where shit start to build up between them and go in a different direction. Now at this point, I'm thinking, is Drake gonna respond? Is Drake gonna, they about to go at it? If it is true, then Drake probably gonna respond. Drake never responds. You feel me? And then that's when we get to, if you're reading this, it's too late. This is where everything changed. This is where everything changed. Okay? Now, before I get to that, I'm going to say, this, at the time, I was like, yo, this album is fire. You feel me? The album, I was like, yeah, this album is fire, bruh. And, so Drake, and he was dropping bangers. He was rapping and dropping bangers, and it was like, okay, yeah, I rock with this. Like, Drake continued to elevate, right? Find ways to elevate. This is my mindset at that time, because I know what the fuck was going on. You feel me? And then the Meek Mill situation happens. Then the Meek Mill situation happens, and he exposes the fact that Quentin Miller is writing for Drake. Now, I remember, bruh, exactly where I was when this happened, bro. Because I was butt hurt. I was like, nah. I was like, bruh, Drake not writing? Nah, you got to drop, like, I'm hoping there's some proof or something, right? And that's when Drake ended up dropping Charged Up. And I was like, man, this shit is trash. Drake just fucking up. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, Drake is about to. And you got to remember too, Meek Mill is one of my favorites at this time. So it's like seeing two of my favorites, but I was leaning more with Meek Mill because not only did I rock with Meek Mill on his freestyles and stuff back in, he's a battle rapper in a sense. So I was like, oh yeah, Meek Mill got that. You feel me? But then when Drake put out Back to Back, I was like, oh, Back to Back is fire. You feel me? And I remember people thinking it was good. You know what I'm saying? People thinking that Back to Back was good. And what's it called? Meek Mill responds with Wanna Know. Now, y'all gonna call me crazy, bro. Y'all gonna call me crazy, bro. But go watch, even if you want to, go watch my We Owe Meek Mill an Apology video. I'm dead serious when I say this. Wanna Know should have won the battle, bruh. Wanna Know should have won the battle. I'm going to tell you why. I remember at the time how serious it was, taken so much more seriously to not have ghostwriters, right? And I remember when people were praising Back to Back, I was just like, damn, like, but how am I supposed to feel about this? Like, what if he ain't write this? You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people were kind of in a similar boat, but they also liked Back to Back. When Meek Mill dropped Wanna Know, it was like, bro, this should have been the kill shot. But the only reason it wasn't the kill shot is because the pop fans outnumbered the real hip hop fans. That's what happened. And then you had some hip hop fans who was also gassing it. You see what I'm saying? Because when Meek Mill put the reference track in the song, that should have been it. That's like when when Big K pulled out the snitch paper, when the paperwork on Audie Boom. That's like the same thing. Now, it's not literally the same thing, but I'm saying like it's the same caliber of being exposed in a sense. Like, people took ghostwriting that seriously. You couldn't be saying you was super nice, but somebody else writing your shit. So when he put the actual reference track, basically showed us the proof that Quentin Miller was writing for Drake, I thought it was over for Drake. I thought it was over. Because in my mind, back then, I didn't understand the difference of the fans. I didn't understand what I was seeing as a kid. You see what I'm saying? And I was in complete shock at how many people just jumped out and said, nah, this shit trash. This song trash. It almost feel like I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if the way Drake was using bots versus Pusha T and Kendrick if he did the same thing versus Meek Mill first. Because it was an alarming amount of people just instantly calling this song trash. You feel me? And that might have been the early stage of the bots, but who knows? Anyway, this should have been over with, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And that's when I knew, I knew back then that hip-hop was about to take a sharp turn. Like this moment in hip-hop, this is like a canon event. This moment in hip-hop literally is one of the most pivotal moments in the culture because what Drake did to Meek Mill allowed all the other shit that happened for the next 6-7 years. Facts. Okay? Now the crazy thing is, even with If You're Reading This Is Too Late coming out, at the Grammys, Kendrick Lamar won Album of the Year. He won a Grammy for Best Rap Album, I believe, or Album of the Year, one of those, over If You're Reading This Is Too Late. And then he also won for Best Song, All Right, beat back to back. So he beat Drake twice in the same Grammys. Okay? And I think this is when when Drake had a different view of the Grammys and stuff like that and decided, you know what? I'm about to just go full on pop for real. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm about to just go full on pop, bro. And that's when Views came out. Now at this point, with Drake, I'm like, my opinion is like, okay, I can't rank you against nobody then. I can't rank you. How am I supposed to rank you? You're not writing your raps. You feel me? I knew he wrote some of his shit, but it's like if dude was, bro, the bangers on If You're Reading This Is Too Late was crazy. That album being discredited is messed up. You see what I'm saying? And that's the reality of it. But it's like I can't rank you. So I got to put you in the conversation with like the Kanyes of the world, where I respect the attempts in the artistry from Kanye. And I respect how Drake was able to do what he did, but it's also like you can't do that in rap. I'm okay with you doing it in the R&B sometimes and the pop songs and stuff like that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But not the rap stuff. You can't do that with the rap stuff. And he was trying to combine them all. And that's why I did go listen to Views to see and listen from that perspective. Like, I just want to listen to it from that perspective. And this is when I knew Drake it's not hitting the same. And it was a huge album. I think it did 1 million the first week. But the reviews it was trash. If you remember when it first came out, everybody said it was trash. And that it's over for Drake. Real talk. Everybody, Drake even acknowledged it in one of them commercials. Like when this album came out, everybody said it was garbage, and that was it for Drake, because Drake had to respond to the Meek and all that stuff on his next album, and he didn't deliver. You see what I'm saying? So at this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm good on Drake, bro. I'm good on Drake, bro. Like the album trash and you don't write, yeah, I'm good. Okay. Now, this is where XXX come out. Now, this is what you got to understand. I was a teenager at this time. So, on SoundCloud and all that, bro, me and my homies is tapped in with the underground. We see everything going on. Everything. The Playboy Cardis to the Lil Yachty's, to the Lil Uzi Verts, to the Mick Jenkins and the Chance the Rappers, to the just plenty of names, and XXX was one of those guys. So it hit a little different for some of us when Drake on that 5th song called Hype stole his flow, his cadence, damn near the beat sounds similar, everything. He just stole it. And I remember hearing the song like, bruh, he jacked this from XXX. And, bruh, that was the crazy thing, was like, bro, not only did you get outed for having people write for you, but now you taking styles from the underground, thinking people won't notice. Like, that's the thing. Like, XXX was extremely innovative, extremely creative, extremely, like, you see what I'm saying? And when Drake did that and they got into their beef, that even made me even more salty towards Drake. Because I'm like, bro, now you stealing openly. You see what I'm saying? And I can understand why people who wasn't there for XXX Rise wouldn't even heard of it, or felt like maybe it was cap. But nah, you had to be there. This was going to be the next megastar. You see what I'm saying? And so that's that position, right? Damn comes out. And it's clear at this point that Kendrick is the man in the game with this album. You see what I'm saying? Like, he stamped it at this point. And I think that's when things got very weird. That's when things got very weird. Because this album came out. This, you know, if you're reading This Is Too Late, was crazy in the first place. But this right here is where shit started to get weird. This is when shit started to get weird as hell, bruh. Okay? First of all, you dropped the album like a week after XXX passed away. So that was weird. That was weird to me. You got to remember, we was really listening to bro back then, before he popped off on SoundCloud. If you was in the SoundCloud era listening to hip hop, you know. And to drop this a week after, it was like, yo, people don't even realize that the conspiracy theories didn't even start really catching weight until Drake put this album out. Because in some of these songs, it sounds like he bragging about it. In Mob Ties, fine, that he didn't write, by the way. Mob Ties. In, it's like one or two more on here, I feel like. No, it was a single, the I'm Upset single. That's what it was. But yeah, bro, I remember that. It was like, is he bragging about it? Like, you bragging about, bro, XXX wasn't no, bro was 19, 20. He wasn't no, like, that's crazy. Bragging about that is wild. And that was really the issue for me. It was like, oh, nah, bro, you want some, this is good. This is crazy. You see what I'm saying? Like, you putting yourself, why are you even talking like that right after something like that happened on your songs, and even to make it a thing? You see what I'm saying? And that's when all the shit started catching heat. You feel me? Then that's when shit started getting really weird. Once again, like I said, everything from here on started getting weird. Then the Millie Bobby Brown story come out. When it's like, okay, that's weird. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of weird that you're doing that, Drake. But, because they was like, oh yeah, she was like, oh yeah, he's texting me and giving me boy advice. I'm like, bro, why are you giving boy advice to a 13-year-old girl that's not your child? But I just think that's weird. But then once that happens, people start doing digging, right? And that's when this come out. And I never even heard about this stuff until like 2019. And that's when shit started to really catch heat. I started hearing about this stuff. I was like, whoa, no, Drake's a weirdo. And that's when shit started to get weird. And then you got this situation where Drake was being around this girl while she was 16, and they ended up dating her when she was 18. It's like, dog, that's weird. You can't, that's grooming. You can't do that. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. That's extremely suspect. Okay? Incredibly suspect. That was one too many offenses for me. That was like, okay, yeah, no, Drake's a weird guy. I don't need any more evidence or proof. I've seen it. This is crazy. Okay? You don't go to a girl on stage. Now this is my thing. If Drake would have did all that, and then when he asked her, how old are you? And she said 17, and he didn't know, it's like, you feel me? I'm not saying it's excusable because you should know, but it is like, all right, he didn't know. Okay? However, when you find out that she is 17, instead of being like, oh, get off the stage, you start saying shit like, oh, I don't know if I should feel guilty. Like, I don't know if I should. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? Kick her off the stage and continue your set. I like how your breasts feel against my chest. What are you doing? Why you look like that? That's crazy. What are you doing, bro? That's a scarcity ass mindset. You know how many adult women is probably in that crowd? Scarcity. It's not that deep. So at this point, I'm done with Drake. I ain't even like, I ain't listen to fucking For All the Dogs. What you talking about? And even with the songs that I did hear, which is like, you know, you would hear some of the songs playing and shit. I never liked none of that shit. I ain't like none of that shit. This was the one before For All the Dogs. Certified Lover Boy. This is when I was like, oh, and he putting out garbage. Cause I you know, sometimes the Drake songs just come on. Ass. Okay? And this was ass. Okay? Now, fast forward. First of all, Drake keep taking shots at people and all types of stuff, right? Now, fast forward. Right? You get into the beef with Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, okay, if Drake really Drake probably not gonna write none of this shit, but he gonna go to war, probably have some, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't know. Let's see what happened. You feel me? What people don't understand is I've always been a Kendrick Lamar fan. You feel me? But I didn't start, like, the level of respect and love I have for him now, I didn't have, like, it grew over time. You see what I'm saying? So this was the point where for both of them, my love and respect increased for Kendrick Lamar, and my distaste and hatred increased for Drake. Was this moment right here. When he used Tupac's voice in the song. That's when I knew, oh nah, this dude, this is disrespectful. This is the ancestors we're talking about here. The ancestors of the culture. What you doing? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Like, how egotistical have you become and arrogant have you become that you think you can just step on the ancestors of the most powerful genre in the world and get away with it? Who do you think you are? You playing a spiritual game now. This is now spiritual warfare. That's how I felt about it. I'm going to keep it tall with you. Some people might say I look too deep into things. That's what this channel was for. I think at this moment, even before that, but I think at this moment, it officially became spiritual warfare. Because now we're talking about the ancestors of hip hop being in the balance of this. You win, and what happens to us? Because you not only did you just promote AI, but you just promoted using legendary dead voices to your benefit. Not even in a positive way, which is whack either way. But you benefited, but you did it to benefit you in war. No morals, no integrity, and it made me realize that there's a whole lot of invalidation to the other things that people were saying about him as well. When you look at, and that wasn't the moment, but it was another like X factor, like the major X factor. Because it's like from everything else, okay, people can like say things, right? But when we start looking at the actions, and we start matching that all up, and you out of integrity here and over here and over here and over here and over here, right? It's like, okay. This dude has the capability of using dead people's voices. He probably has the capability of doing a lot of other things too. You see what I'm saying? It adds validity to the things that you already believe, but people try to trick you out of believing. That's really what's going on. It's just a constant PR system of people trying to trick you out of what you already fucking know and what you've been knew. Okay? And when this song came out, and you got to remember, now that you know, I already felt this way about Drake. So when this song came out and Kendrick was talking about it, they don't got creative control over Kendrick. They can't stop Kendrick from saying whatever he wants to say. So when we looking at it from that perspective and hearing everything he had to say in this song about the practices that go on in the industry and how many people you know he offended and put on alarms, this is a brave song to put out. And Drake's response told me everything I need to know with the Hard Part 6. And then that leads you to everything we're here with today, with the lawsuits and all this extra stuff. And y'all already know what's going on from that point. So that's the timeline for you. You feel me? That's the timeline for you right there. That's the timeline for you. I'm not just some dude who say, oh, I like Kendrick Lamar, so therefore I hate Drake. No, my hatred for Drake is separate from my love for Kendrick Lamar. Okay? Now, I don't hate Drake genuinely. I know he's a human being. I know that he has flaws. I know that I have flaws. I know that everybody I know has flaws. He has some crazy ass flaws. For sure. Okay? As far as what I believe is true, and I think will continue to show. Those are not subjective to all people. No. But that's why I don't hate Drake. I don't really hate anybody. Okay? I have genuine empathy for everybody. Now, if I understand that there's a PR system that's going to continuously try to interrupt this renaissance of hip hop, then I think that's my responsibility to speak on it daily and push back. But I don't hate anybody. So I understand, I understand that it's not my place to judge. However, I am human, and that means I will judge here and there. Especially when I feel convicted in my validity. You see what I'm saying? If that's what it is, I feel more comfortable with it. And that's the reality of the humanity. You see what I'm saying? He does it. Kendrick does it. We all do it. But it's to understand some things. If we go completely against what you stand for, what you love and believe in, you better have that. You better be able to bring that out of you. You better be able to weaponize that distaste for the thing that is trying to take away from you. Okay, but let me quit ranting, man. Thank y'all for coming. If you like storytelling, like Brenda's Got a Baby by Tupac or Sing About Me by Kendrick Lamar, I think you're gonna love the vocal cords of Broken Woman. I say it's because the people in the audience do. You feel me? The people in the comments. To all the Drake fans that's probably about to go comment by my video, feel free. And everybody else that be streaming it, thank you very much. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. I know this is my longest video ever. I hope y'all enjoy it.